Good day everyone, I'm Victor, the moderator for this webinar. I welcome everyone for today's webinar, which is Credentialing and Enrollment, a practical guide to revenue cycle collaboration. I want to introduce our presenter for today, Yesenia Servin. Yesenia Servin is an expert in credentialing and provider payer enrollment with over 27 of experience in healthcare industry. Yesenia has a deep understanding of Medicare and Medicaid enrollment and is a nationally certified credentialing manager and provider enrollment specialist. I would now like to hand over the floor to the speaker. Over to you, Yesenia.
Thank you so much. I am actually very excited to be with you and talk about this topic. So some of our objectives, I wanted to limit it to three, but with revenue cycle being so large in credentialing and enrollment, it's kind of difficult, right? So we're going to talk about some of the claim issues. I'll talk about the tools that I use, the workflows that we've implemented. We'll look at the revenue cycle model and how it looks like if you're looking at it from a credentialing and enrollment viewpoint, right? Because when people look at it, they're looking at it from a patient services viewpoint, and really we can't even serve that patient if we don't do our first two parts. So this is one that I love. It looks a little dated, but the data is still accurate, right? We still need that first step to always be credentialing. And when we talk about credentialing, we're talking about verifying that the provider is qualified to provide quality services to our community, right? So credentialing is actually checking credentials. So again, I stressed the difference between credentialing and enrollment. So let's jump into the claims. What is looked at as provider not enrolled? One thing that you have to get very familiar with, and I would say become proficient in, is your claim form. The other thing is you have to get comfortable with those member insurance cards, the various portals where you look them up. So let's talk about reviewing the claims. And then I use the CAQH profiles when it comes to that enrollment process to make sure I'm not missing anything and to make sure if it's a location issue, did I miss it on CAQH or did I miss it on NPES? The biggest thing is having access to those claims. RCM information provided when escalated. Did you check all the resources? Everything that we just looked at right now, did you check it? Standard documentation to include escalations, right? When you're having that difficult conversation, you have to have that backlog. You have to have the logs. Best practice, let them give you access to that claims information. Yes, it can be limited. You need all the information before you escalate. You need to establish clear ownership. Our providers should be providing quality services to our community. So this is one simple way that I like to report what's being captured. How are you going to add that up? You're going to pull claim by claim and try to add it up. It's impossible. That's why having that access to that billing platform, even if it's a limited access, you still can have these numbers and pull these numbers. So please fight for that. Here are some common denials, rejections, etc., etc. Not approved one provided by the specialty provider taxonomy. This is the same thing as the others, just worded differently. That's the other thing that's not uniform. So every payer has their own denial language, their own denial codes. Missing incomplete group practice information. Again, they dump it in credentialing. Rendering provider must be affiliated with the pay-to provider. Taxonomy missing, procedure code not allowed, pay-to address incorrect, billing provider, and on, right? There's a million of these. So a lot of the times it's the data and communication issues. You have to stress your point. We'll provide some language to that in the near future. Clear ownership. Assign to them what needs to be assigned to them. Take on what you know is yours. And don't forget to connect with Conference Panel and myself on LinkedIn. We provide a lot of good info. After the conference with Medicare this month and the meetings, I'll be sure to provide a lot of updates as well. So please stay on top of that in LinkedIn. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate you so much, everyone. If there's something specific that you want, just let Conference Panel know, and we will definitely work together to get it to you. Like I said, I am going to work with Victor on language so that it's much easier for you to work with leadership, work with those RCM teams. Thank you and have a good week.
Great. And thank you, Yesenia. That concludes the session for today. Thank you everyone for participating. You may all disconnect now. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.